Hello there. My name is Todd Cruz. I'm an artist. I'm actually not a professional artist. I'm a artist hobbyist. I've actually painted probably over 500 paintings over the span of 30 to 40 years, and I do mostly abstract. I've done a lot of portraits. I've done a lot of landscape. Um, I know they say if you want to be successful in art, you should stick with one style and do it consistently over and over again. But that's never been my thing. And I don't really market my art at all. I the thought of going to like a fair or a show on a weekend and putting up a tent and selling paintings is not what I want to do really because honestly nobody buys art or I shouldn't say that a lot of there's not much of an art market unless you get into the really expensive art, and of course there's a market there for the really popular artists. But I just do it for my own enjoyment. Of course, it would be great if some gallery, noticed me and wanted to show my art. That'd be pretty cool. But generally, I don't market my art. I just like to create. So um, I'm going to do a quick video. Hopefully, it won't be too long here, but I just want to talk about how I create a painting. This style, let me show you the painting that I'm going to talk about here. This style um, is one that I do consistently. It's very dense. It probably violates a lot of rules of design. It probably doesn't look like it would go above somebody's fireplace or in somebody's home because it's probably very overwhelming to look at. And people say that it's just too busy, too much, maybe even an eyesore, perhaps, right? So, but that's okay. I, my focus is to do something innovative, and honestly, it's a design that it's a style that I keep going back to. Perhaps a little OCD, but essentially, uh, what I'm trying to do in this style of art is to um, create shapes that are disrupted by other shapes, create patterns that flow into other patterns, um, create some sort of impression of of shapes, structure, perhaps uh, that are that fade into the background or get overwritten by other dots or smaller shapes or whatever. When I do a lot of the dots, and let me jump to the lower right corner of this painting called the Bourgs. This painting, yeah, it's 30 by 40 oil on canvas. Uh, the Bourgs is actually a French term for the small towns that surround a castle or small French towns. I'm not trying to be all fancy here, but I do like to pick names once in a while that are interesting and short. Uh, and on that topic, sometimes I try to avoid giving a painting like this a name because I don't want to imply to the viewer that it is something specific. It it isn't necessarily something specific. It's just, and in fact, people will often see something in it that I don't see, and so I'd rather perhaps allow them to see what they want to see. Uh, so back to the description or my thought process and what this painting is about. Let me go to the lower left corner here. Um, this is where I add some patterns of dots. Obviously, you can see that I like to put particular color dots into particular areas. So you see a lot of the dark black or dark colored dots in the red area, and so I'm not consistent about it. I like to make certain areas very dense, and typically, yeah, this may be the dots may be on the periphery of the painting, sort of not really a background, but more a fading type of concept. But uh, I call these high contrasting dots because I like to put light dots in dark areas and dark dots in light areas so that they really pop. I like to make some areas very dense and some areas not very dense. And then I like to, at times in different paintings, of course, I'll make the dots, different sizes. And in here you can see some larger dots and some circles. All right. So on the next, moving up to the upper left corner of the painting here, this is where it gets more into the idea of disrupting shapes. You can see we've got ovals, circles, sort of circular patterns, straight lines, sort of geometric, and then a lot of smaller squares that are in white and a kind of a light blue color. So the intent, of course, when I do this is to imply shapes, make it look like something is developing, but then again have something else come in and completely disrupt the pattern. So I like to look at it up close. I'm driven to put marks in areas that are perhaps don't have much mark or don't have much paint in that area. I'll put a shape on top of that. It's just by habit. But I do like to look at a painting like this very up close. And then, of course, I'm training myself more and more to look at it from a distance to try and keep it, not so dense in all areas. I know that these paintings would probably be a little bit better if they weren't consistently dense. I'm trying to create a balance, so to speak, of dense areas, not dense areas, different balance of colors, a balance of shapes, a balance of patterns. And moving on now into more of the center area of the painting here. Here's where we've got even the oval shapes are even broken up, like not. You can see that sort of circular pattern in the middle isn't even a full circle. It's kind of shifted in the lower portion off to the right, and then we've got lines and squares, rectangular patterns, kind of disrupting everything. So trying to imply that there may be some hint of something like a building or a sidewalk or a sky, implying a little bit of a shape there that gets disrupted. Does it work? I don't know. That's for the viewer to decide. Moving on into the, let's see, I think this is the, this is more of the lower right portion of the painting. And you can see more of the patterns overlapping. Here I took the dots and I also put dots in a circular pattern, kind of the circle theme, the oval theme, using my dots, and have some straight lines in there with marks to continue the impression that there's, again, just a balance of different shapes, movement, energy, and then moving on to the upper right, you can continue to see. I also try, I think sometimes about putting dense areas of color. So you can sort of see here, you see the red on the lower left, and then the circular area is more bluish, and then the dots in the upper right are more, sort of pastel colors with some white squares next to them. So I'm not constantly trying to disrupt every color pattern with different colors everywhere, because that would remove some of the impression of patterns, right? So you got to have some areas that are consistently similar and build them up throughout the painting. Now, here's the painting once again from the whole. What do I see here? I see, if someone looked at this, perhaps maybe they would see a sort of a construction type of thing going on with the lines and the hash marks within the lines, sort of looking like stairs or uh, some sort of scaffolding, perhaps, and the energy of the circles sort of swirling around in the middle, creating definitely some kind of energy that is maybe disrupting something that's more geometric underneath it, perhaps. Um, Again, does it work? I don't know. I mean, um, be good to hear your feedback if you want to leave some comments on this. Um, for me, I look at this. I probably put 30 hours or so into a painting like this. Just keep looking at and just keep adding, covering over spaces too. Like if I see an area that I think is too much, I'll just paint over it and make it up more of a flat area because it bothers me, perhaps, right? So what I like about this painting is, for me, actually, yellow is my favorite color. So I really like that area in the sort of upper left. It's kind of an area of yellow rectangular shapes, and I think it works pretty well with the red dots in the lower left. Um, Certainly a swirly moving pattern here. But that's it. I mean, I call it the Bourgs. Um, so this will be. I don't know if I'll do some more painting, some more videos like this. We'll see how this one turns out. Thanks for watching. Oh, this is who I am. That's my website. Thank you. Bye.